that. I didn't mean to scare you.
What do you know about him?
He was in the Navy.
I looked through you all. Given us how I saved your life, I think that's acceptable. You've got some fight in you.
10 Cloverfield Lane is a 2016 science fiction psychological thriller film that focuses on Michelle, a young woman who is being kept in an underground bunker by a man named Howard, who claims he held her captive for her own good. But she then finds out the real reason for that and does all she can to escape. If you're new to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, and let's get into the video. The movie begins with Michelle packing her belongings and making her way of the city. While driving, her ex-fiancé, Ben, calls her. She picks the call and listens to him tell her about how sorry he is and wants them to reconcile. She cuts the call and turns the radio up. Ben calls her again. She takes her eye off the road and out of nowhere, her car gets hit by a truck. Everywhere went dark. Michelle wakes up with a head wound in a small room with a needle in her arm that's hooked to a saline drip. To her surprise, her leg is chained to a pipe. She grabs her pole and pulls her phone toward her to call for help, but there is no signal. A huge man comes downstairs to open the door to the room. It is a man named Howard. He tells her that he rescued her from the accident and she is alive because of her. He gives her a pair of wooden crutches because of her injured legs. He tells her to get on those and then leaves the room. But Mitchell does not believe Howard. She sharpens the tip of the crutches to make it sharp enough to attack. She set a small fire to trigger the fire alarm to lure Howard in. Howard falls for it, and she attacks him with her new weapon. Fortunately for him, she overpowers her and sedates her. A hole later, after she wakes up, Howard tells her that there was a nuclear attack and the air outside is contaminated and unbreathable, explaining why he brought her down to the bunker beneath his farm to keep her safe. He then takes Howard brings Michelle up to the airlock to see what's going on outside. Nothing appears unusual, but Michelle spots Howard's truck with red paint on the side, and she recognizes it as the truck that hit her. This raises her suspicion towards Howard. Moments later, a loud noise from outside the bedroom makes Howard to yell at an unseen person. Michelle moves around and discovers a younger man named Emmett with a broken arm. Howard blames Emmett knocking over a shelf full of food supplies. Emmett, who seems a lot nicer than Howard, tells Michelle that he voluntarily assisted Howard in constructing the bunker. He claims to have witnessed the attack, describing a red flash, and rushed to take shelter inside, which led to his arm injury. Howard, Emmett, and Michelle then sit for dinner like a family. Michelle, in an attempt to get on the nerves of Howard, flirts with Emmett. Howard is obviously not happy seeing this, but it gets worse when she touches Emmett. This time Howard responds violently. He warns them, especially Michelle, not to behave like that again. Michelle grabs his keys when he is not looking. Then they hear a rumble above them. With that distraction, Michelle smashes a beer bottle on Howard's head and makes a run for it. She runs out toward the airlock and tries to get out. Michelle stands in the airlock between the outside and the inside as Howard begs her not to go outside. A car arrives and a middle-aged woman approaches and pleads to be let inside, but her skin is clearly deformed from an infection. Howard urges Michelle not to let this woman in. The woman grows agitated and starts banging her head on the glass of the door. Seeing all this, Michelle now starts to believe Howard. Howard also apologizes for his previous behavior and explains that he truly hit her car, but he didn't do it on purpose. Both reconcile and Michelle helps him stitch the wound from his head injury, the only Michelle caused when she hit him with a beer bottle. Over the next few days, the trio grew closer, working together like a real family in the underground bunker. Howard even let Michelle borrow clothes that were previously owned by his late daughter Megan, showing her a photo of Megan. Michelle and Emmett bonded too, as he confided his regrets about missing a chance to play college sports due to fear. In turn, Michelle shared a painful memory of witnessing a child's abuse at a hardware store, haunted by her own troubled past. One day, the air filtration system failed, and only Michelle was small enough to enter the vent to the filtration room. She went in and successfully reset the unit. She then came across a ladder leading outside. She climbed up and a window scrolled with help in what looked like blood. On the floor lay 2 bloody earrings that matched Megan's in the photo. Emmett recognized the girl as Brittany, a missing classmate. Emmett and Michelle once again say Howard a threat, and they start plotting to escape, stealing Howard's tools. They built a makeshift biohazard suit and gas mask. Howard discovered the theft and confronted them with a vat of acid to dissolve the tools. Demanding to know why they took his gun, Emmett confessed it was to impress Michelle, as she respected Howard. Unexpectedly, Howard forgave Emmett, then shot him dead. Michelle is devastated by this, and she makes up her mind to not let Emmett's death be in vain by finishing the escape. Michelle successfully finishes the suit she constructed and attempts to escape. Howard tries to stop her, but she pushes a vat of acid towards him, causing him to slip and fall in, his face burning. Climbing over, Michelle rushes for the exit as the acid eats through a wire, causing a fire. Howard pursues her, and she pushes a shelf onto him. Michelle crawls through the vents towards the filtration room. Howard, realizing that she is going through the vent, starts stabbing through the vent, grabbing her, but she kicks his hand hard enough to free herself. As flames take over the bunker, Michelle puts on the gas mask and goes outside. She is finally outside and she sees Howard's truck. She rushes to get in, and in the process she tears her suit and she panics. But luckily she took duct tape with her and she quickly repaired the suit with it. She then sees a flock of birds flying above her. She is surprised because the birds would not be alive if the air was truly toxic. She takes off her mask and notices that the air is good. She smiles in relief. After escaping the exploding bunker, Michelle climbs on top of Howard's truck to survey her surroundings. She spots what she thinks is a helicopter, but it turns out to be a massive alien hovercraft. As the craft approaches, Michelle tries to find keys to the truck, then remembers the car and runs to it, accidentally setting off the alarm. This attracts an alien ground creature, forcing Michelle to hide in a nearby shed. Evading the creature, Michelle finds the car keys on a dead woman and escapes the shed. As the alien approaches, she disables the car alarm and flees towards a farmhouse, only to have the giant craft appear behind it. The craft releases a toxic green gas, prompting Michelle to don the suit again and hide in the truck. The alien craft lifts the truck towards its mouth, but Michelle creates a Molotov cocktail and throws it into the creature's mouth, causing it to drop the truck. Surviving the fall, Michelle gets in the car. With the keys, she starts the vehicle and drives off. She then looks at Howard's mailbox. It had the address 10 Cloverfield Lane on it. She turns on the radio and hears a voice say, "We have retaken the southern seaboard." The voice also asks that anyone that needs refuge to head to Baton Rouge, and those with combat and medical skills and are willing to help to head to Houston. He heads to a crossroad with Baton Rouge to the right and Houston to the left. She chooses to head to Houston, where combat and medical personnel are needed, as a larger alien hovercraft is revealed in the clouds. That's all for this video. Hit the like button if you enjoyed the video and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already.